All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. We'll give it a couple minutes to let everyone kind of fill in, and then we'll get started with our webinar. And so the format today we'll go through, I'll introduce our special guest, and then I'll let her take it away. We'll leave a little bit of time at the end today for us to ask questions. So if you have anything, feel free to save those for the end, or go ahead and just put it in the chat, and I will go ahead and keep those in queue for when we are ready to begin the Q&A. So Kellyanne, if it's okay with you, I will get started.
Sounds great.
I'm very happy to introduce Kellyanne Fedio. Is that the right way to pronounce your name?
That's the way everybody says it, but it's actually Fedio. So good job.
Fedio, okay. Well, sorry about that. Kellyanne Fedio is an attorney turned e-commerce entrepreneur, an Amazon channel expert. She founded and scaled a 7-figure brand and then had a successful exit. Kellyanne recently acquired a new brand, which she plans on scaling and exiting within a few years as well. She recently joined Canopy Management as an industry leader in full service Amazon brand management as their director of business development. Kellyanne, great to have today with you. Great to be a partner with Canopy. Excited to hear what y'all have to say today.
Thanks so much, Stephen. It's such a pleasure to be here. Welcome, everybody. I'm excited to just share some information today and let you know a little bit more about what we do at Canopy, but it's been a great ride working with the folks over at Gemba, so thank you very much.
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the 3 keys to Amazon success for product creators. And this training is for you, and you're probably in the right place if you're already on this webinar. But if you've already started with product development and you're looking, ahead to where you're going to sell that product and how you're going to sell and market it, or you've already had some off Amazon success and you're ready to expand and create a new, revenue stream. Most brands these days, they aim to be omni-channel, and obviously Amazon being the biggest gorilla when it comes to e-commerce, you really should have an Amazon focused strategy. And then if you're already selling your products on Amazon and you want to, take it to the next level, this is for you. And by the end of this training, what we hope you'll learn is, doing things in a certain order and a sequence is really important for your success. And the fastest way to increase your sales velocity for your product, that's very important. And I think everybody wants to know a little bit about that. You'll learn about the exact percentages you should aim for in your PPC campaign results. You'll learn a method to expand your reach and generate up to 20% more sales, and also how to create a compounding effect for your product so that it generates maximum profit. And I can't stress enough how important profit is. Everybody is so focused on sales and revenue. And if you've ever gone to sell a business, it doesn't matter, at least an e-commerce business. It really, your profit is what determines what the value of your business is. So just to let you in on a little secret, this information is usually top secret. It's usually reserved for our clients at Canopy Management. So why am I sharing it with you today? The more value, honestly, that I can give you up front, the more likely you'll want to work with us at Canopy. That's the bottom line. So being totally transparent there. We want to knock your socks off and show you we know what we're doing and that we are the best in class full service Amazon brand management agency. And hopefully after today's webinar, if you do have a need and a desire, you'll think of us. So first, a little background information on me. As Stephen introduced, I am an attorney turned e-commerce entrepreneur. I got started in e-commerce around 2013, and I primarily leveraged the Amazon channel to scale my brand. So I had an e-commerce presence, a D2C presence on my own website, but I primarily leveraged Amazon and really focused on that channel. And that's what led to my success. So I scaled that brand over the course of about 5 years and then had a very successful exit. I took a mini retirement and now I'm back at it, working with the best in class agency here, Canopy. And I'm really excited to help other Amazon sellers and also just anybody whether it's an enterprise level client or anyone who needs to dominate on the Amazon channel, I'm really excited to help them. A little bit about Canopy. We are a full service Amazon advertising and marketing agency, and we have an industry leading track record. So some of our stats that we're really proud of, we have an average 84% year-over-year client profitability. We have a 63% average year-over-year organic sales growth, an average 105% year-over-year PPC profit growth, and a 38% average conversion rate increase on listing optimization for our clients. And in total, we've helped brands grow on Amazon to sell over 1 billion through a proprietary system of PPC advertising strategies, which were developed by our very own Brian Johnson, conversion rate optimization, and product differentiation. So what does this all mean for you? It's pretty simple. Today, I'm going to share with you the key insights that we've learned at Canopy over the years from scaling Amazon businesses, even in the face of tough challenges. And even if you're not selling on Amazon already, you've probably heard the horror stories that it can be very challenging, and it's a moving freight train. And it takes a PhD in Amazon just to keep up with those changes sometimes. So let's get started. So really, when it all comes down to it, there are 5 big contributors to maximizing sales on the Amazon channel. Number 1 is product creation. If you have a terrible product, don't bother. Those days are over. Okay. So we all know you're working with Gemba. You're going to have an excellent product. So that's, that goes without saying. So you have to have a great product, and optimizing that product on the Amazon channel. Amazon is its own unique ecosphere. So what might convert on your own e-commerce site or in a retail store on another channel is not the same thing as converting on Amazon. So we have to have a truly optimized listing in order to achieve the best conversion rate on your product. Amazon PPC advertising is another cornerstone. You have to have proper listings and listing optimization and a highly converted listing for advertising to be effective. That goes without saying. Amazon DSP advertising, which is a whole nother form of advertising, which is now available to folks that are, established and selling successfully on the channel already, or even if you're not selling on Amazon, you have sales in some channel, then this would be for you. And then off Amazon traffic. So this just puts kind of into graph form the contributors and how kind of important they are in the whole scheme of things. But you can see that product creation and listing optimization, take up, almost half of the screen, and then PPC takes up a big chunk. But this just kind of gives you a visual of the different components and, their weight. So let's start with key number 1, proper listing optimization. So with proper listing optimization, not only does it increase your visibility, but the whole goal is to increase engagement and your conversion rate, meaning that people that land on your listing actually buy your product. That's very important, because the more people that come to your listing, if they don't convert, then your conversion rate is going to go down, and you're not going to get that whole flywheel effect on Amazon of getting impressions, getting traffic, and actually garnering sales if people aren't converting. So, we always like to think of this when we're presenting information to anybody as what's in it for me. So how does 80% plus more profit sound? And that's what we've been able to do on average for our clients. So a properly optimized product detail page increases product visibility among competitors. So that gives you more impressions. So that's more people coming to or actually seeing your listing in search results or in an advertisement. It also increases click-through rate to lift total sessions. And so that means actual visits to your product detail page. It increases buyers' confidence, buyers' professional appearance. And that's just more of a intangible, branding sort of thing. When somebody lands on your listing, that's the only way that they have any touch points with your product. So you want to knock their socks off, basically. And customers come to Amazon to buy. So they have a high buyer intent, and they are looking for something specific. Usually they're typing in a keyword query, and then they somehow happen upon an advertisement or an organic search result for your product. And when they get there, you want to keep them there and you want them to buy. So it needs to really do its job and do a really good job at that. and increasing conversion rate and sales, profitable orders. So obviously that's the lifeblood of any business, increasing sales, increasing profit. If you ever want to exit your business someday, and I would highly encourage everyone, no matter where you're at in your journey, is to have an exit strategy. You always want to know what the value of your business is at all times, what it's worth. You have to have, obviously, sales and profit. So our approach at Canopy to product listing optimization is, first, we start with what we consider to be the most important thing, and that's an eye-catching main image that stands apart from the competition. So when shoppers are searching for a product on Amazon, they're usually typing in a search query, and then they're going to get a list of search results. And on that search results page, whether it's on mobile or on desktop, you're going to see multiple images. And so that's the very first thing customers are looking at. I mean, the more analytical types of customers, yeah, they're going to be looking at the title to make sure it matches up with what they're looking for. And the title is extremely important. But the main image, people are visual creatures, right? So the main image really needs to be the number one thing that stands out on that search result page so that you can garner the click. And so right behind that would be a title that has a hook, so that they really know that this product that they were searching for matches what they are looking for and the unique benefit of that product. So back in the good old days, and I still see this on Amazon a lot, most people in their title, they're just keyword stuffing it. They're trying to get SEO juice to their product. And that's not a good customer experience. You want to have a fine balance. And it's actually a very, we make it look easy, but it's a complicated process to have a title that not only expresses the unique benefit or the unique value proposition of the product, but also has good, keyword SEO benefits. So that's something that we're really, really good at Canopy, amongst other things. We want really good, catchy, punchy bullets. We don't want these long bullets that go on and on forever. Again, keyword stuffing is not what's going to help. It's basically the customer is looking at those bullets, if they are reading the bullets, to find out what is the benefit to me or to them. And the secondary images, even though the main image is most important, and that's what gets the click to go into the product detail page, the customers, most people are visual. They're going to look at the pictures, and the pictures need to tell a story. They need to be like a storyboard and really represent, because most people aren't going to read, honestly, the listing, the bullets. They're going to do a quick scan, but they're really going to be looking at those images. So those are super, super important. And then finally, A+ content. This is the content that is at the bottom of the product detail page. And this is a great place to showcase your brand, a great place to showcase, comparisons to your competitors. I mean, there's all different types of ways that you can construct and depict A+ content. And it's actually, for most sellers, very overwhelming because there's so many ways that you can do it. It's like creating a whole, separate web page almost. And so at Canopy, we really, have mastered how to make that A+ content really shine. So, in this slide, we talk about the 5-second rule and how long it should take for a consumer to view an image or read a bullet and know what's in it for them if they own this product. And that's what we convey with our creative services at Canopy in creating the product listings. And the bullets are typically structured as leading with a short benefit. So that's 3 to 5 words followed by a supporting feature. And again, this is because most people don't read. They don't want to read long paragraphs of text. And so what you might want to do, and when you're getting started in your journey, is look at your competitors and see how they're constructing their listings. And you definitely not only want to stand out from them, but you also want to get to the point and get to the benefit. Everything should be benefit driven and what's in it for the customer if they buy your product. So for standout product listing optimization, what we do is we identify common patterns among search results. So we're looking at, obviously, competition that provide an opportunity to emphasize the product image and title differences to stand out from a crowd of similar products. So think about all the different things that a shopper sees on Amazon when they type in a search query. They come up with a bunch of search results, and it seems like there's just an endless digital shelf of products that are similar. So what is going to make them click on yours? And that's what we've really honed in on and mastered at Canopy, which we're really proud of, as we bring that out in your product and your product detail page. And again, I can't emphasize enough grabbing their attention with your main image. We do a lot of split testing of main images. So we don't just pick one and think it's the best and go with that. It's an iterative process. So you want to constantly be doing split testing to find the one that's going to convert the most. In other words, the one that stands out from the crowd. This could mean simply just colors different from others. It could mean that it's like an unusual direction that it's facing. You want to stand out from the crowd, basically. And imagine if you were a product on a retail shelf and somebody was in the store, make them want to pick out that product, or in other words, look more into your listing and read it. And then you want to hook their interest with your title, again, making it benefit driven, really highlighting the unique value proposition or propositions of your product. But usually for the title, you're really focusing on, 1 to 2 key value propositions. And we split test these too. I mean, split testing is very, very important for marketing. And if you know anything about marketing, split testing is definitely something that's very critical and something that we place a high value on at Canopy. So it's important to really focus on being different. So testing different types of words, testing unique selling propositions and benefits, whatever we can do to just grab onto that potential buyer when they see you in the search results, it's going to make them click on your listing. So here are just some examples of how Canopy's been able to help some of our clients with increased conversion rates. So for one of our clients, Zugu case, we increased their conversion rate from 12.56% up to 23.77%. This is all extra sales and profit in their pocket just by increasing the conversion rate. So this really is the most critical factor in, in the foundational factor for success on Amazon. Before we turn on and utilize PPC and DSP and different methods of advertising, we have to have this well converting listing. For snow teeth whitening, this one is pretty astounding. It increased from almost 3% up to 41%. For beauty stats, we went from, this is a smaller conversion rate increase, but still, when you actually look at how that translates into increased sales, it makes a huge difference. And then birds and bees from 5% to 20%. So we're really proud of those stats. So we keep track of all of our clients and what types of conversion rate increases we've seen. And across all of our clients, we're really proud to say that we've achieved a 38% average increase in conversion rate across our clients. So really proud of that. And it's not an easy feat. There are a lot of services out there, service providers that provide listing optimization, and they're not all created equal. So just keep that in mind when you're researching this, if you're looking for a provider. So hopefully all that made sense. I know that Stephen said that he would be keeping track of questions in the chat feature. So after I'm done with this presentation, we can go through those. So just kind of taking a pause for a second, letting that all sink in, and recapping that success key number 1 is proper listing optimization. And again, the whole point of proper listing optimization is to increase visibility, engagement, and ultimately your conversion rate.
Kellyanne, we can, before we jump in, we can answer one of these questions if that's okay with you, or if you have it at a later time. One of the questions came from Jeremy asked, how important are customer reviews on your listing?
That's obviously critical. The customer reviews are very, very, very important. And we at Canopy, we do full service management. So we're involved in that process. However, we presume that if you have a good product, you're going to get good reviews. Amazon has done away with all of the black hat tactics to garner reviews. So, Canopy cannot make you get good reviews if you don't have a good product. So if you don't have a good product and you don't represent it well, you're not going to get good reviews. If you do have a good product and it's a highly converting listing, you should be getting reviews. I mean, there are lots of tactics that you can do off channel, if you build your own customer list to be driving reviews and things like that. But with Amazon, it's just automatic. You can ask the customer for a review. And if you have a good product and a highly converting listing, then you should be therefore getting good reviews. Hope that makes sense.
Makes great sense. Thank you.
And also being very proactive, and this is something obviously Canopy does in the question and answer section, and responding to customer reviews if there is a negative review or even positive reviews, and that's something that if Canopy's handling, we could do that, or if you're handling that internally, it's just very important to show that as the brand, that you are very keen on receiving customer inputs and queries, and that you're answering them and being proactive about that. So that's very important. Awesome. Any other questions, Stephen, on that?
Not yet.
Okay.
So feel free, if you have any questions, go ahead and list them in the Q&A section here at the bottom on Zoom, and I'll go ahead and get to them as Kellyanne gets to a stopping point.
Great. Okay, so we're ready for key success factor number 2, and that's focused Amazon PPC advertising. So advertising obviously increases and amplifies visibility and sales. We feel very strongly at Canopy, and I think any person who knows marketing would agree that it's doesn't do you justice to have to pour a lot of money into advertising unless you have a good conversion rate on your product. So that's why, number one, the product optimization is so important. So let's assume now you've got a great product, you've got great reviews, and we're not talking, you do not have to have thousands of reviews. You just want to have a good review score. So if you were to go to any agency and had 3 stars on your product, well, that should be telling you something. That should be telling you that there's something wrong with the product, right? And so you need to fix that issue first before you worry about listing optimization and advertising. But now that we're here at advertising, this obviously is the, the fire that you're, adding to your sales. You should be getting some organic sales already, and this is what's going to take that to the next level. So the things when it comes to advertising that are most important to focus on, the metrics, are number one, your USP. This is your unit session ratio or your product conversion rate. Amazon has, in their business reporting, if you have an Amazon Seller Central account or have been in there, they call these different things. So when we talk about your conversion rate, Amazon calls that your unit session ratio. And so we look at that, and that's where you can find what your conversion rate is. Now, what is a good conversion rate? Probably some of you are asking. It really depends on the category, on the product. But at Canopy, we consider, a baseline, decent conversion rate to be at least 10 to 15%. So if you look at your conversion rate right now, if you're already selling on Amazon, if you're anything below that, then that should cue you in that you've got either a product problem or a product listing optimization problem that you need to fix. The next metric to look for or focus on is the ACR, or the order click ratio. So this is the advertised conversion rate. So this is how many people are clicking on your advertisements and converting into sales. So that's very important. And there are so many different types of advertising modalities on Amazon. When I got started back in 2013, Amazon advertising was so basic, and there was really just keyword targeting. Now there are so many different ways to advertise on Amazon, and to be able to have that high conversion rate, it takes testing all of these different methods of advertising, and we have a very systematic way, the way we do that at Canopy. Next would be your click-through rate. So this shows how engaged your customers or potential customers are. Are they seeing an ad and clicking on it? And we look at this metric, and we want it to be at a certain level. And it's almost, I don't want to say as important as conversion rate, but click-through rate, if there's a problem with that, it can really give you an indication that just something is off about probably your listing optimization, or maybe it's the ad type. Ad impressions obviously are important. You want as many ad impressions as you can get, as long as they're hopefully turning into clicks and sales. And then sessions are the actual number of page visits. So this is when there's an actual impression and somebody, a potential customer, clicks on it. They might click into it once and go out and come back again. That's all counted as a page visit. So those are called sessions on Amazon. And then finally, number 6 and 7, we call it ACOS and tacos. So ACOS is the ratio of ad spend to ad sales. So out of all of the sales that you're generating through advertising, what did you spend to make those sales? That's your ACOS. And typically or historically, it depends on the particular strategy that you want to follow. But a good target here is around what your profit margin is on your product, at least in the beginning. Now, tacos is really ultimately the way that we judge whether advertising is working. And, it does take some time to get to this point of where tacos becomes relevant and important. It's certainly not in the beginning. In the beginning, you're probably going to be overspending on advertising. You're going to have high ACOS, high tacos, but over time, as you're gaining organic rankings through advertising, you're going to have better ratios here. So tacos is actually the ratio of your ad spend divided by your total sales. So this includes your advertising sales and your organic sales. So here are the actual numbers. I started to allude to them before in the previous slide, but of the kind of the targets that you should be shooting for. So this is really, really, if there were any slide that you were going to take a screenshot of, I would definitely take one of this. This gives you a really good gauge for what you should be shooting for in your Amazon advertising strategy. So 15% or higher for your product conversion rate, 15% or higher also for your advertised conversion rate. For your click-through rate, a 0.5% is considered a healthy click-through rate. And again, click-through rate is your ad click-through rate or your engagement. Your impressions, at least 1,000 impressions. So that's the actual ad showing up on, search results. 1,000 sessions, actual page visits. So where potential customers are visiting your page. And then for your ACoS, we recommend 30% or lower, which typically if you are running a profitable business, you should, be aiming for a 30% profit margin, net profit margin after, maybe not after operating expenses, but after advertising certainly. And so that's why we use the 30%, because that's a really good gauge for what you can spend on advertising. But more importantly is the tacos. It's the ratio of what you spend on advertising divided by total sales. So we like this to be in the range of 12% or lower. I'll stop there for a second. Stephen, are there any questions?
We don't have any at the current moment,
Okay.
But yeah, I'll go ahead and keep it open or track them as they come in.
Okay, great. Okay, again, what's in it for me? How about 30% more sales? A properly optimized native PPC advertising strategy will increase your product visibility among competitors. In other words, it's giving you more impressions, and increases the click-through rate to lift total visits. It increases conversion rate and sales, so that's more profitable orders and a more profitable business. And most importantly, and this is what is very unique about Amazon advertising, is it increases your organic keyword ranking. So every time you make a sale, let's say it's a keyword based query, and you land on a PPC ad for a keyword targeting ad, and the customer clicks on that ad and they buy, that's going to give a little bit of ranking juice to that keyword. So eventually, if you keep generating advertising sales based on that keyword, it's going to help increase your organic ranking for that keyword. And so the goal, especially with keyword targeting, is eventually you're going to be ranking very high on page 1 of search results for that organic keyword. You're still going to want to advertise on that keyword, but to have that organic ranking, hopefully most people are going to be clicking on the organic ranking, and it gives keyword juice to that. So Amazon advertising, especially keyword targeted advertising, helps increase your organic rank. That's very important. So our strategy at Canopy in terms of PPC advertising is we launch specific and aggressive campaigns to kickstart the initial visibility and sales velocity of the new product. So this includes, as I mentioned earlier, there are many different types of advertising modes on Amazon. So number 1 is keyword targeting campaigns. Number 2 is product targeting campaigns. And number 3 are search term targeting campaigns. If you know these different nuances, it's great. If you don't, that's fine. It's just the more important point to realize is there are different ways of advertising. And we start off and we have a very methodical approach of how we build out your campaign strategy. And it becomes more, I would say, aggressive and more complex as we go on. But in the beginning, we're going to focus on launch, we're going to focus on these types of campaigns. And then when we're in the growth phase, we're going to be expanding the ad campaigns to accelerate visibility, rank for additional keywords, and increase sales and expand market share. So this is where we get more aggressive and we're finding out what's working, what's not working. We're doubling down on what's working, maybe cutting back and optimizing on what's not working. And then scaling, and that's where everybody wants to be, right? And that's focusing ad budgets on the products and campaigns proven to deliver profitable sales growth, keyword ranking, and market share. So this is where ultimately you want to be from your advertising strategy. So in doing a product launch with PPC advertising, we're going to start with a sponsored product keyword targeting campaign, and that would usually be in the first couple of weeks. And this gets really detailed. So it's, if it's something that you want to take a screenshot of, maybe like if you're running your own advertising and just want to have this, I think it's very useful. But what we'll do is we will run ads for probably your top 10, maybe 20 highly relevant target keywords with an aggressive bid, which amounts to about 10% of your product launch price. So in the beginning, when we're launching a product or a brand, it's not about making profitable ad sales. It's not going to happen. It's all about getting that visibility, getting that exposure, and getting that flywheel on Amazon started. So we usually set this campaign to about $20 a day. So it's not, some exorbitant amount. And we make sure with our bidding strategy that the ads are showing each day. And the campaign basically reinforces with ads the relevance to your optimized product listing. So we want to really feed the algorithm of Amazon and show them, okay, when somebody searches for a keyword, which is what this type of campaign is based on, that they are finding the right product and they are clicking on the right product and buying, hopefully, your product, the right product. And that's going to give that organic lift to the keyword. Next, we're going to run an automatic campaign. And this is usually done either in week 2 or maybe week 3 or 4, usually week 2 or 3. We would run a $20 a day automatic campaign. And this is with a default bid of 5% of your product launch price. This type of campaign is kind of like a catch-all where, Amazon is showing this in many different places and it's used as a wide net, and we use it as a wide net and then we optimize it. So we're going to be adding negative and exact match keywords. But this gives Amazon the flexibility to show your product to audiences not directly looking for your specific product. But as we all know, if you're an Amazon shopper, you go to Amazon looking for one thing and you're bombarded with all these other things and wow, that looks cool, or wow, I needed that too. So we definitely want to show up for those types of ad types. In our product launch phase, the next type of campaign that would be running after those first 2 that I just mentioned is a product target campaign. So this is where we're advertising on another product or ASIN. So these are ASIN targeted ads. And again, the default bid is our strategy is around 5% of your product launch price. So a very aggressive bid. And we're looking kind of like with the keyword ads, we were focusing on the top 10 to 20 keywords. For these types of product targeting campaigns, we're looking at the top 10 to 20 competitor products. And we're usually looking for, ways we can attack. So these products either have, low review ratings, their price point is much higher, or their features and benefits, mostly the benefits are lacking compared to what your product offers. So this is a great way to garner a lot of advertised sales. And it's basically stealing sales away from your competitors and presenting them with a better alternative product. So this is a really great strategy and something that we implement very early on. And what's most important about advertising is optimization. So at the end of each week, we have a very, very detailed process. It's a 10-step optimization checklist to refocus ad spend to make sure that it's being utilized to its fullest potential. Cut out wasted ad spend. We're going to be adding negative keywords and doing everything that we can to deliver the key results of visibility and profitable sales. So now when we're talking about the growth phase, this is kind of where our campaign strategy goes at that point is we are looking at, again, keyword targeting campaigns, but now we're going to be creating a new one with an additional 20 relevant keywords with a bid of 5% of your product price. So a little bit lower, less aggressive bid this time, but it's like we're working in chunks of keywords. So we're not just setting up a campaign with thousands of keywords in the beginning and diluting all of our efforts. We're really focused and do very deep keyword research to figure out what to focus on first, and second, and third. And then the same thing with our product targeting campaign. We are going to create another, there's a mistake on this slide here, but this should be a product targeting campaign right here. But we're targeting basically an additional 20 relevant products, that are in competition, or they could be possibly complementary to our products. And using a bid of 5% of our product price. So that gives you some really deep insight into, what we're doing up through the growth phase in our advertising, what we do for our clients, and then getting to the scale phase. After about 4 weeks, we're expanding to what's called sponsored brand ads. And there are different types of sponsored brand ads. There are ones that focus on keyword targeting, there are storefronts, and then there are video campaigns. So again, as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of different types of advertising products within Amazon advertising itself, and the names have changed over the years. It can become very complicated, but just know at Canopy, this is our expertise, and we know all of these methodologies, and we know when to use what. And we, really carefully craft that to each client that we work with in terms of when they're ready for what and what's working, what's not, and constantly optimizing. But this basically allows you to further increase visibility, your keyword ranking, your sales volume, and your market share, which obviously needs to be done if you're going to scale, right? And also we're expanding to sponsored display at this time and testing that out. And that involves keyword targeting, product targeting, and remarketing campaigns. Again, all to further increase your visibility and keyword ranking and sales volume and market share. So here are just some examples, again, that we're really proud of profitable sales growth for some of our clients. Some of these, like the top one, obviously, is 103% increase for Zugu case. For snow teeth whitening, in 180 days, we went from 529 to 7,000, which the number itself wasn't that big, but that's a 1,200% increase. So just to kind of show you the results we get for our clients. Beauty stat in 90 days went from 54,000 up to 184,000. So that was almost a 240% increase. And for birds and bees teas, we went from $68 to $33.69, which obviously is a huge percentage increase in 90 days. So, some of these brands represent launches, some of these represent clients that were already on Amazon, but just to kind of give you a good lay of the land in terms of the results that we're able to get for our clients. So when we track all of our clients, we're really proud to say that we have an average increase in profitable PP sales growth of 105% across all of our clients. So that's something that is not easily achieved. We, keep very careful measuring of our stats, and we're always, looking to increase this as time goes on. But this is, obviously a very, very high amount of PPC sales growth, and we're really proud of it. So it's time for a little sense check here, Steve, if there's any questions. If not, I'll keep moving on. We've talked about success key number 2, Amazon advertising strategy, which amplifies visibility and sales. Before I go on to number 3, are there any questions in the queue?
Yes. So what is a reasonable tacos at the start of advertising on Amazon?
I think that what's reasonable is different for every product and category, but in the beginning, your ACOS and your tacos are going to be all out of whack. If you're just starting out with a product, you have nothing to benchmark it against. So it really is about getting that flywheel going so that you can start to get some organic traction, which takes time. So if you want me to give you a particular number, that's kind of hard for me to do. I've seen ACOS in the beginning, well over 100%, and tacos at well over 50%. So the better way to answer that question is to say that that's not the right time to be judging that metric. It's over time after you're past the launch phase and when you're in the growth and scaling stage. And that's when your tacos should be around 15% or lower, and your ACOS should be about 30% or lower.
Great, thank you. How important is it to advertise on social media platforms?
Well, that's all about outside traffic, and that's definitely important. Most of the discussion that we're having today revolves around Amazon advertising, but certainly your off Amazon or your off channel advertising efforts are very important too. Amazon loves outside traffic. So if you could be driving traffic from social media, from Google, from other places to Amazon, that also helps to ramp up your organic rankings on Amazon. So very important.
Great. I want to ask 2 questions. I know that Brian actually swept in the chat and answered a couple of them, but when I go ahead and list it here so everyone can hear it is, where do we find USP? Brian went ahead and listed that in the chat for everybody as well, just in case anybody wants to go back and to review that. The other question was, what is a default bid? Something else that Brian answered here in the chat as well, if you want to speak to that in addition.
Okay, so, and I haven't looked at the actual chat. I'm just relying on you to relay it to me. So the question was, what is a good default bid?
Yes, what is a good default bid? Or what is a default bid?
Well, default bid is when you set the settings in Amazon advertising of what you're willing to pay. It's an auction of what you're willing to pay for an actual click on your advertisement. So you can, I think the minimum bid that you can put is 20 cents, I believe. And it can go up, to a high number from there, but Amazon gives you ranges of suggested bids, and it's very nuanced for every, I know it sounds like probably everybody says this, but it depends on the product, depends on the category. But like, let's say you're advertising for, vitamin D supplements, right? To advertise on that keyword, vitamin D, probably the default bid on something like that's going to be like, I don't know, $10 per click. I have no idea, but it depends on the competitiveness of the category, competitiveness of the product. So what we recommend more is looking at the price point of your product and basing your default bid, especially during the launch phase, on a certain percentage. So as I mentioned in the previous slides, in the beginning when you're launching, 10% of your product price, allocating that to your default bid. And so that's the amount. It doesn't mean you will pay that if somebody clicks on your ad, but that's the amount you're willing to pay, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. Thank you. That is it for now.
Okay, great. So moving on to success key number 3, and that's Amazon display advertising. So this scales off Amazon visibility and sales. So now we are talking about stuff that's happening off of Amazon, but it's going to feed into your success on Amazon. So with DSP, we've seen results of 20% more sales. So obviously that's another big number. And a properly optimized display and ad campaign strategy. This is really more for top of funnel developing brand awareness, so improving visibility for the brand. So for example, if you're utilizing DSP, this will display your ads on very prominent publisher sites, such as the Washington Post, BuzzFeed, MSN, the New York Times, so things like that. And it also boosts consideration because it increases you being chosen among your key competitors. And finally, it fuels purchase behavior by encouraging shoppers who have seen but not yet purchased a same or similar product yet. So kind of think of that as like retargeting. It's, this DSP platform has really evolved since it was launched. And I forget this specifically when it was. I think it's been at least a few years, and it wasn't available to, you had to be spending a certain amount of money to be able to have access to this. So this is where this is more advanced strategy, but something that, especially when you're in the growth and scaling phases, that is very important. So you might be asking, what is the difference between PPC and DSP? So you actually don't have to sell on Amazon to utilize their display, their DSP features on Amazon. So that's something that I don't think a lot of people realize. And with PPC, you're paying per click, whereas with DSP, you're paying per 1,000 impressions. And then the third point here shows where the ads are actually shown. So Amazon advertising is shown on Amazon for sponsored product ads, for sponsored brand ads, and for sponsored display ads, and then off Amazon for sponsored display ads. And then DSP is shown on and off Amazon. So Amazon owns and operates a lot of other sites. And, I mentioned some prominent sites that it can show up on in the last slide, but this can show up in a variety of different venues. And it's, very prominent placement on some pretty big websites. And then where you can direct the traffic for Amazon advertising, it's simply to your product detail page or your store. But obviously with DSP, you have the ability to do it pages on and off Amazon, which can be very, very lucrative. And then, is there a minimum ad spend requirement on PPC? No, but on DSP, yes. So if you're working with Amazon's managed services, you have to be spending at least $35,000 a month on DSP. And if you are doing self-service, like and using like your own agency, our minimum at Canopy is $10,000. So our approach to display advertising is to test each of the following ad types for 4 weeks. So similar to our Amazon PPC strategy, this is something that happens iteratively. It happens in stages. We don't just all go guns a-blazing at once. It's very methodical, going from launch to growth to scaling phases. But first are the retargeting ads. And this targets viewers that have not purchased yet. So these can be very, very productive, very fruitful, because it's, that the potential shopper has already looked at your product. They just haven't purchased it yet. And sometimes people need, more than one touch point to go back and purchase your products. And then we have cross sells and upsell ads. These target across product lines. So they promote your top seller or your seasonal product to past buyers. So somebody who's already bought one of your products, we would show them another product in your line. Loyalty ads are targeting past buyers for a second purchase. So these are people that have maybe purchased within the last year, but haven't purchased recently. And then a conquer ad is targeting a competitor's product to steal market share. So these are akin to the product targeting ads that we talked about in the PPC ads. And then a similar product retargeting ad reaching shoppers browsing products similar to yours. So these are the different types of display advertising that we test. And again, it's not a one size fits all. Some brands might have more success with a particular type of targeting than others, but we test all these and we figure out which one's getting the most traction and which one, and through optimization, we're really focused on, putting our money where we're getting a good ROI. So we just took a pulse check. So that was success key number 3, Amazon display advertising. And so I think I'm just going to keep going here, Stephen, and then we'll probably have some questions at the end. But, after going through all this, you're probably asking, how can I apply all of this to my business, like right away? And you have really 2 options. You can figure it out on your own, which a lot of people do. There's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of YouTube videos. Everything is out there on the internet that you would ever need to figure out anything, whether you wanted to become a medical doctor or an Amazon seller or a successful brand. But the trick is getting to it efficiently and implementing it effectively. So you can do it yourself, of course, or you can spend less time with less effort and get better results. So, we're very proud at Canopy. Every one of our client success stories started with what we call a business growth roadmap. And what we do is we get into your account. We actually need access to your Seller Central account. And we have a data scientist on our team that will do a very in-depth and proprietary analysis that we've created of your account and look for not only historical trends, so where are you going, but your key metrics, what's important, what you don't have to focus on, and competitive landscape, where do you stand? And next, you have to decide where you want to go. So we'll identify a clear endpoint for the next 6 months of growth for your business. So we will do all this analysis and build you a 6-month roadmap of where you need to go. And so during this time, we have control stage opportunities. So this is all about profitability and predictability. Then we have expand stage opportunities, and these correlate with, some of the different phases that I mentioned earlier, launching, growth, and scaling. At the expand stage, we're creating massive sales growth. And at the dominate stage, this is where we are making sure that your product is becoming a category king or queen, and basically stealing back market share. And finally, we'll map out a clear path to get there using our proprietary system we use to consistently double the sales for our clients. And that's no joke. We're really proud of that. So we'll develop a comprehensive personalized ACOS strategy. We'll identify search term optimization opportunities, and we'll diagnose your PPC health and a plan for getting it in shape. So here's the thing about building you a customized business growth roadmap. They're actually custom. I think there's a lot of agencies out there that will offer an audit, or they'll offer a strategy call or this or that. And it's really kind of a rote, generic kind of a process. What we do is actually custom, and they take us time and money. We use our data scientists that we keep on our team, and our average analysis costs $545 to be exact. So this is, something that you get to leverage and have, whether or not you decide to work with Canopy or not. So we look at that as a pretty great value. But like I said, we do need access to your account data. And all of this starts with a no pressure introductory call. So once you get on this call and we figure out that, okay, you're at a stage where we can help you, we would develop your business growth roadmap, and it will give you insights into some of the things I mentioned before, your historical trends, your key metrics, the competitive landscape, control stage opportunities, expand stage opportunities, and dominate stage opportunities. Also a personalized ACOS strategy, search term optimization opportunities, and also PPC health diagnostics, and also a roadmap or plan to get that all in shape. So if anyone here, liked what they heard and is interested in learning more about getting this roadmap, you can go to this QR code below and apply to work with us. This will take you to a page that asks some pretty simple questions. It shouldn't take you more than a few minutes, but it's so that we can, get you in touch and have an intelligible conversation with our team, and then we can proceed from there with getting access to your account and providing you with that growth roadmap. So Steve, I'm ready for any questions.
Awesome. So I just, one just came through actually currently. So I'm just starting a company and will not have a product until September. When should I set up my Amazon account?
Okay, well, setting up your Amazon account is different than creating an actual product or adding something to inventory. So I would say, apart from you want to sign up for the professional service account, which I believe is like $40 a month. So yes, it's an expense, but I would get it set up sooner rather than later and start learning the inner workings of what's called Seller Central. And that's basically their user dashboard for sellers, because it can be very overwhelming if you've never logged into a Seller Central account. So if you don't mind paying, or you could even sign up for the, it's not a professional account, but there's a free version. I forget what it's called. Just so you can see the inner workings of Seller Central, I think would be helpful. And then certainly you want to get your product listing ready. You want to have, your product optimization all done before you send an inventory to Amazon, if that's how you're going to fulfill, which I'm assuming it is.
Oh yeah, and a question from me actually. How does creating new products or product extensions, product line extensions fit into a strategy with you all, or with how you act on Amazon?
Oh, well, it's critical. Any brand that's successful is always going to be expanding their product line. And we love working with clients like that, because obviously that just is built in, growth and scaling, right? That's what you need to do to grow and scale. So we're right there by your side every step of the way in not only helping you to identify, just like Gemba does, but we do it from a different perspective, identifying potential product opportunities through our keyword research that we do, through our advertising. We get great insights into what people are searching for, so we can help inform your product development decisions. But it's critical, obviously, for scaling, for growth and scaling.
Awesome. Yeah, I think informing your product development decisions are a big thing that we talk to our clients about, actually. So it's good to hear that that's kind of in line with what you all think as well. Kellyanne, thank you. This was awesome information. I think this will be of great value to all the Gemba folks that we work with as well. I know Brian, both Brians for a while now. I've referred several people myself to you all who have not only stayed with you all, but have had an incredible experience. So really appreciate your time today coming on and educating our folks. And of course, if you have any questions to the Gemba community, please click on their QR code. Get in touch with Canopy. Really an outstanding group to take advantage of. So thank you so much for your time today, Kellyanne, and look forward to many more partnerships together.
Thank you. And I would also love to just offer my personal email address if anybody wants to reach out with specific questions. It's Kellyanne, KELLIANNE @canopymanagement.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and look forward to connecting soon.
Thanks. You too. This is great.
Of course. Take care.
Bye.